You just got a 4% pay raise. You are feeling pretty good, and you should be. It's a sign your company values you. But what if I told you that in 2026 Canada, that raise is actually a pay cut? The government might be telling you that your inflation is only 2.3%, but the real numbers, the one that dictate your actual quality of life, tell a very different, much more expensive story. Today we're breaking down the official story, the real story, and why you feel like you are just getting poorer, even when your paycheck gets bigger. And this isn't just a vague feeling. It's a mathematical reality. You aren't crazy for feeling like you are just working harder just to stand still. In many ways, the system is quietly working against you. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how and what you can do about it. So let's start with the numbers you see in the headlines. 2.3%. In January 2026, Statistics Canada reported that the headline inflation rate was 2.3%. This is the official number. It's what the Bank of Canada looks at when they are setting interest rates. It's the number the politicians might point to and say, see, we've got inflation under control. And on the surface, it looks okay. It's down a little from the month before, and it's getting closer to that magical 2% target. A huge reason for this low number is the one single item, gasoline. Gas prices have fallen by a massive 16.7% compared to the year before. Because gas is such a heavy item in the calculations, that huge drop pulls the entire average down with it. In fact, if you take gasoline out of the equation, the inflation rate was actually 3%. But let me ask you a question. Do you feel only 2.3% more expensive than last year? When you walk through the grocery store, does it feel like prices are basically flat? When you pay your rent, does it feel like it's under control? When you take your family out for a simple dinner, does the bill feel like just 2.3% higher than it did a year ago? I'm going to guess the answer is a hard no. And that's because the headline numbers, that 2.3% illusion, is masking a brutal reality hiding in the bank statement. This is where the official story and your lived experience completely falls apart, while the average is low. The prices of things you absolutely can't avoid, the bedrock of your budget, have completely exploded. Let's start with food. Well, the headline number is 2.3%. The price of food purchased from the stores still surged 4.8% over last year. That's more than double the official rate of inflation. Your grocery bill isn't just creeping up, it is printing away from your income. That's not a small rounding error. It's a huge chunk of your budget vanishing every time you hit the checkout. But it gets worse. What about eating out? A coffee on your way home? A pizza night with the kids? Prices for meals at the restaurants have jumped an astonishing 12.3% in 1 year. That is more than 5 times the official inflation rate. Ever get that sticker shock when the bill for a simple family dinner arrives? You are not imagining it. And it's just not food. The cost of other essentials are also climbing. Things like children's clothing saw a 6.3% increase. Trying to have some fun is getting also pricier, with the cost of toys and games rising 8.7%. Even alcohol beverages from the stores are up 7.9%. And what about the biggest expense of all? Housing. First, rent inflation is running at 4.3%, nearly double the headline rate. Second, moderation comes after years of absolutely crushing prices increasing. And it's like celebrating because you only got one flat tire this month after getting 10 last month. The pain hasn't stopped. It just didn't get worse quite as quickly. For millions of Canadians, housing remains a soul-destroying expense that eats a bigger and bigger piece of their income every single month. That's why Bank of Canada did not bring the interest rates down. Does that make sense? The banks are making the money here. So why is this happening? Why is the official number so different from the reality of your bills? There are two main reasons. First, as we mentioned, is the gasoline effect. The official inflation number is calculated using the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. Think of it as a giant imaginary shopping cart filled with hundreds of items. The CPI measures the average price change of the entire basket. When one very heavy item like gasoline, they are making you think it has fallen off. In fact, the price of gas is the same. You are not getting ripped off by the carbon tax anymore. We will take it as a win. So gas drags the whole average down, even if the price of everything else in the basket is quietly on fire. It's like getting an A on phys ed but a C in your 4 other classes, and your report card only shows a B average. It doesn't tell you the subjects you were actually struggling. The second reason is a bit more technical, but it's crucial. It's something called base effect. In late 2024 and early 2025, there was a temporary GST/HST tax break on things like restaurant meals. Because prices were artificially lower last year due to the tax cuts, the comparison to this year's prices. Now the tax is back. Looks like a massive jump. The government statisticians know that this is just a statistical quirk. But for your wallet, a 12.3% increase is a 12.3% increase. The reason why doesn't make it any less expensive. If you are finding this information helpful, please make sure you subscribe and hit the like button. Let's do the math on your 4% pay raise. According to the official numbers, you are winning. You just got a 4% pay raise. And the inflation is only 2.3%. That means your real wage growth is a positive 1.7%. You are ahead of the game. Time to celebrate, right? But now let's apply the real numbers. Your personal budget isn't the government's theoretical basket. You have your own personal inflation rate. Let's say the big chunk of your spending is on groceries, up 4.8%, rent, up 4.3%, and the occasional meal out is up 12.3%. Your personal inflation rate isn't 2.3% anymore. It's probably closer to 5% or 6%. Now, look at your raise again. Your 4% income increase is fighting against a 6% increase in your personal cost of living. You didn't get a 1.7% raise. You got a 2% pay cut. Let that sink in. You are working just as hard, showing up every single day, doing everything you are supposed to do. And your reward is your money buys you 2% less than what it did last year. You are actively, measurably getting poorer. This is the core reason for the financial frustration so many Canadians are feeling. It's a feeling of running faster and faster on a treadmill that's speeding up just fast enough as you can never ever get ahead. So, what can we do? It can feel hopeless, but it's not. The solution starts with changing your mindset and your strategy. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building a defense layer for your purchasing power. First, your mindset shift. Stop trusting the headline numbers. The most important step is to stop measuring your financial success against that 2% mirage. You need to calculate your own personal inflation rate. Go to your bank and credit card and all the statements you have. Where did your costs really go up? Add it up. That's your real number. That's the enemy you have to beat every year. Second, your strategy must be to grow your income faster than the real inflation. The goal is no longer just to get a raise. A 4% raise is a trap, and if your costs are rising by 6%, your goal is a raise that beats your personal inflation rate. This might mean negotiating harder at work, armed with real data. It might mean looking for a new job with a significant pay bump, or it could mean developing a side income stream to close that gap. Third, get your money working for you. In this economy, this environment, holding cash is a losing game. Every dollar you have in a standard saving account is a melting ice cube, guaranteed to lose purchasing power year after year. You need to put that money to work in an asset that has a history of growing faster than real inflation. And finally, control your personal spending basket. You can't control the price of lettuce, but you can control your own spending mix. If you see that restaurant prices are up over 12%, maybe you can decide to eat out only one less time per month and automatically invest that money into savings. It's about making conscious choices based on real data, not just habit. The reality is stark. The official 2.3% inflation number is, for many Canadians, a distraction at best and a deception at worst. The real cost of living driven by essentials like food and shelter is climbing much, much faster. A pay raise that doesn't beat your personal inflation rate is a pay cut in disguise. And it's quietly making you poorer. But you are not powerless. You don't have to be a victim of these numbers. By understanding what's really happening, by calculating your true cost of living, by relentlessly focusing on growth of your income above that rate, and by investing your money so it works for you, you can beat this cycle. You can stop this treadmill, water treading, and finally start moving forward. Now, understanding these concepts is one thing. Putting them into practice is completely another. If you are thinking of buying or selling real estate, please give me a call. My contact information is in the description below. Until next time, see you soon.